Hey everyone, I'm just gonna try to get Josue here. Let's see, just waiting on Josue. And Instagram's telling everyone to join us as well. So let's just wait here. I had a long drive just now, so I'm glad I made it right on time. Hey everyone, I'm inviting Josue here, who's gonna be our guest. And just give me a few minutes. Let's try this again. Says he's unable to join. Let's see. I'll try this again. Hey guys, just waiting here on Josue to join. And we'll get started here. But if you do have any questions, feel free to stick around, or you can watch this replay later. Hey, Josue.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to connect my headphones.
Yep. I had a long drive from Tomball, and I didn't know if I was going to make it in time, so I'm glad I made it
You had a
right
what?
just in time. No, I had a drive from Tomball, and it was I wasn't sure if I was going to make it back in time, but I'm glad I just made it right on time. So
You did,
yeah,
bro.
thanks for joining us, man. We're good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good. I got my
All right.
headphones on. I'm in the office right now, so sometimes it can go a little loud in here, a little rowdy. But um, yeah, man,
Yeah,
this
no.
this is my first time doing something like this, so I'll let you kind of just wing it, and we'll just talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Yep. Yeah, and just I guess for people if they're new at this channel, the point of this is really start this channel to sort of personal finance, right? To educate a lot of people, getting out of debt, investing, and whatnot. But at some point, I got really interested in side hustles, right? And most of my audience is really interested in side hustles and the topic of entrepreneurship because a lot of people are getting, they're looking into alternatives away from their 9 to 5, and I think you're a perfect example of someone who's taking that entrepreneurship role, to the next level. So I'm very happy to have you here, man. It looks like you got some people here that
Yeah,
recognize you
Sonia.
and
Yeah,
showing you some
love
love. So
love you guys.
that's amazing. Yeah,
Love to Sonia, love to Ezra, love these
yeah.
guys. Ezra's in Colombia and he's an amazing guy too, man. He's over there doing some kick-ass stuff in the real estate world, development. Talk to him. Arturo, how you doing, bro? Sonia, she's an overall badass doing like Airbnbs, Arturo's in
Yeah,
real estate
I've
also.
been following her. Yeah, I follow a few people here, local people out of Houston, and it's exciting. It's
Yeah,
inspiring, man. But yeah, let's get back
yeah.
to you, man. I wanna, I guess again, being that this is a personal finance space, I wanted to ask you though, what's your money story? What's your background?
Man, that's a good question. So background really, just came from a poor Mexican family. We came to the U.S. like in the 90s. My mom came to the U.S. in the 90s, and she settled down in South Texas and Mission, Texas. And at the beginning, it was rough, right? And she struggled and she worked her ass off until she got a teaching degree and started teaching. When I was like, I remember being like in fourth grade, and this is kind of like my first entrepreneurial, I guess, spirit kind of coming through. I
Hmm.
uh, I would buy like bags of like candy from Mexico for like $2, $3, and then come and sell them in the U.S. for like 50 cents each lollipop, and I'd make like $50 out of like a $2 investment, right? So, um, crazy how I was. already, I think like by the time I was like fifth or sixth grade, I had like $1,000 saved up. So,
Wow.
um, fast forward, and I kind of took the traditional route, got into engineering. I'm an electrical engineer by trade, so I have an electrical engineering degree. And I started working on oil and gas for about, I don't know, like 3, 4 years, more or less. And it went good. Everything, I mean, great pay, making six figures a year as a 24, 25-year-old, but I was working 100 hours per week. And I thought to myself, like, this isn't what life's supposed to be, right? I'm going to be working my ass off. I'm going to be making all this money, but what good is all this money if I don't even have time to go spend it or enjoy it? So I said, you know what? To hell with
Exactly.
this. I'm not gonna do this. And I quit. I quit cold turkey. I had some money saved up. I had like 20 G's saved up, and I ran through it all like within about a year or so. The whole time I just started like reading and researching and figuring out different ways to like make money. Found real estate while I was actually working in oil and gas. Podcasts and audiobooks kind of saved my life and put me onto the game of like personal development and financial freedom. And over time, man, it just got to the point where I got my first deal. It took me 8 months to find my first deal. But my first deal was actually 20 G's, the exact amount that I had in my bank account when I quit my job. So I basically replenished my bank account with the first deal that I got.
Wow,
So
that's pretty impressive. And I met you as a wholesaler. So he runs a successful wholesaling company here out of Houston. But for those that might not know what wholesaling is, could you give a 5 90 second kind of elevator pitch?
yeah, yeah. So basically, wholesaling, what it is just finding motivated sellers that want to sell their property at a discount, and then finding an investor that wants to buy said property. You have a piece of contract on the property with the seller, and then you can actually sell that piece of contract to the investor for a fee. But typically, when we market it out to the investor, we tell the investor, "Hey, listen, I've got this property. Let's say I agree to buy the property from someone for 100,000. So then I grab it for 100,000. I go and I tell the investor, "Hey, I'll sell you this house with my fee for 120." So I don't tell him how much I have it under contract for. He agrees to 120. I sign another contract with him, basically assigning my interest in that property to him for a $20,000 fee. He doesn't know that. He signs, and then on the closing table, he brings 120. The seller gets 100. I get 20. Done deal.
Gotcha.
Does that make
And
sense?
how Yeah, no, definitely. Well, I was trying to do the same, and I think at some point that's how I met you. So,
Yeah.
Josue has been a customer of mine. He's a friend of mine as well. So, I wanted to. I've been asking him to join us, but part of it is, outside of the wholesaling part, right? I know you invest a lot in your education, and part of that is, that growth mindset, right? And I think it's difficult enough to start a business, but it's way more difficult to keep that going and growing it, right? So I think that mindset a little bit, if we can shift to that, I'll be keen to hear, what is it, what was it that, I know you were doing engineering and the oil and gas, and at some point you decided that wasn't for you. But what has been some of the challenges, being an entrepreneur, and kind of how do you power through those?
Um, Man, I think there's always challenges, and I think there's always new challenges as you like go through new barriers. But I think you have to have like a mindset of like being solutions oriented versus um, thinking about the problems that you have in front of you, right? I think like every problem that you have in front of you is an opportunity to be courageous and to go out and take action. I think that's why I love the process now. It's not even just about like just the money or the success. It's more so about like the journey. It's about like figuring out where you're at right now and then seeing like, man, I have this problem. How am I going to overcome it? And what steps do I need to take to get from point A to point B? And I think that that process itself is what makes entrepreneurship probably the most rewarding out of everything, in my opinion. You know, um, to answer your question, I think you have to constantly look to improve by going to seminars, reading new books. I think books are the number one way to get a lot of knowledge. I'd say I'd probably number two way, but probably the number one way is through relationships. Um, I have a lot of relationships, and I think it's been kind of like some of them have been just a shortcut to success. I mean, it's sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know. You can get in front of the right person and they can say, "Hey, I want to invest," and they give you all this money, you can go out and invest, right? So you never know, man. I Relationships is probably one of the most important thing in entrepreneurship for sure. I
No,
kind of went on a tangent there for a second.
no. I mean, I think that's 100% right. And part of it is, whether it's that, that initial relationship, and then they can also open the world to other people, right? So if you're service based or whatever product you're providing, right, a lot of it could also be word of mouth because you build those strong relationships and they trust you, right? That you deliver every single time. So, no, that's a facts, man. You touched on books as well. I think there's so much that you can get out of 20-second clips off of, TikTok or YouTube or Instagram, right? So I think there's a lot more into books than people can get from a even a long video on YouTube. So I think I'm in agreement with that as well. Reading, expose yourself to other kind of perspectives, or whatever topic you decide to choose. So kind of going back, we touched on the mindset, right? I guess, do you believe in long term? Do you
Mhm.
journal, or do you manifest? Do you do any kind of manifestations? And if not, what's your take on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you need to have a goal in mind, right? And I think you need to have a vision for the future. Um, I like using this analogy a lot. A lot. Uh, you don't ever just get on a boat and, you know, cast off and figure out like, oh, okay, we're just gonna sit here in the boat and see where it takes us, right? You get on the boat knowing, hey, I'm gonna go to that island over there so we can party over there, or hey, you know, go back, if you have like if you're gonna take a trip on a boat, we're gonna get on this boat and we're gonna go from point A to point B, or maybe even something as simple as like, well, I think I like the boat analogy. Anytime you get on the boat, you have a destination in mind, right? Because life is the exact same way. If you get on the game of life and you don't have a destination in place, you're gonna drift. And that's what happens with a lot of people. They don't have like an end in mind. They don't have a vision. They don't know where they're going. So what happens is that the wave of life is just gonna take you wherever it wants to take you, right? But if you get on the boat and you know exactly where you're gonna go, and you know that you're not gonna stop at anything until you get there. I mean, everything just starts happening for you, and even like the universe just starts aligning you with the right people that you need to meet so you can get to that destination. So, as far as like, I like to journal mainly to like look at my decisions on what kind of decisions that I've made recently. That, like, what decisions did I make to get me to where I'm at today? And then I like to write down my goals on what it is that I want for my company, what it is that I want for my life. And I think a lot of people just focus on success, but I think success is all about different pillars of life, right? It's not just money. It's about your relationships. It's about your wealth, your health, how healthy are you? You can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have any health, what good is that? Right? I
Facts.
like I like to think about this a lot. A healthy guy can think about a million different things, but a rich guy with no health can only think about one thing, and that's health, right? So if you have all the money in the world and you don't have health, you're only thinking about health. You're only thinking about getting better. Think about like different like your own time whenever you're sick, you can only think about getting better.
That's
So,
facts, man.
um, yeah, man, it's like you have to take a holistic approach to life, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think we forget that as humans we're very multifaceted, right? And I think part of our lifestyle, etc. It could be easy to chase just money, but we disregard relationships, disregard our own health, etc. Right? And at some point, yeah, you can chase the money, but even then, right, that's not richness is also not wealth, right? So it's also, you can spend it all, short term without any plan, right? So I like that you eventually you write down your goals, and I am a believer in manifestation as well. And I'm in agreement of you're saying, if you get on the trajectory, regardless of what gets in your way, you get through, right? And whether, you
Right.
see it from a religious perspective, whatever else, things just seem to fall into place. So I've, personal level, I've experienced that as well. Um,
A lot of
yeah. So
synchronicity.
what's, sorry?
I said you'll start seeing a lot of synchronicity, a lot of things just kind of like being you being in the right place at the right time. And I think you can see it more than anything, like whenever you look back at your life, like how the fuck did I get here, And then you start connecting the dots, like, wow, if I hadn't gone to that networking event, or if I hadn't like make that phone call, I wouldn't have talked to that person that introduced me to this person. If I hadn't done this Instagram Live, maybe I wouldn't have met that person through Instagram Live.
Exactly.
You never
Yeah.
know.
That's the facts, man. And taking
Hmm.
it back a little bit to wholesaling, right? Um, that time, like the past interactions we've had, you touched a lot of negotiation, right?
Hmm.
Can you touch a little bit on, like, the practicality of having those negotiation skills, or, let's say me at a personal level, right? I might find a good deal, and even then, I might not even take into consideration that I can negotiate because I don't know how to do it, right? And
Yeah.
that, so
It's
yeah,
it's funny, man. I think negotiating in sales is probably one of the most important skills that anyone can ever have. Like, I'm selling properties on the market, and like I'll get calls from like buyers, and they ask me how much do you want for the property, and I say, oh, I want 210, and they just stay quiet, and they're like, okay, and is the price negotiable at all? And to me, like, I would never say that. I would never say, is the price negotiable? I mean, that's just a very elementary way of asking for a price discount. But um, I think negotiating in sales could potentially help you out in your entire life, and just like knowing how to get what you want without making the other person feel like they got robbed, or like they lost something. Because I think that word, the word negotiation, carries a lot of like negative connotation to it, as far as like if you hear someone's negotiating with you, then you feel like you're gonna lose something, you know? But a real negotiation, or a real sales process isn't about taking something from the other person. A real sales process is about figuring out what the other person needs, and then having them giving them what they need in exchange for a price reduction. So then now you get what you need, I get what I need, and now we can make a deal, right? So it's about working together. So negotiating is not about like, I'm gonna price gouge you and I'm gonna like take as much as I can from you. It's about, what do I need to do to resolve your problem, and how can I give you that so that you can give me what I need. Let's work together. Let's figure out a common solution. Let's figure out a common ground so that we can work on this deal together. And at the end of the day, if I don't give you what you want, then you're not going to do business with me, right? So it's in my best interest to figure out what you need, give you that, and then boom, we have a deal.
I
And I
think a
think you
lot
can
of
tell that too. Like, I think you can think about that too whenever like we've talked about like even like your data, right? Like, what is it that you need, Pablo, so that I can help you out on your journey, and I can bring value to you. And I know that that's going to be reciprocated back to me whenever I need something, right? It's all about just helping and just giving as much value as possible to the other person.
That's facts, man, and that's part of the reason, even whether you're providing, whether you're a service provider, or you're selling whatever it is, right? A lot of times is
Yeah.
that going back to your first point of relationships. At a personal level, we get along because I get to pick your brain, and you kind of tell me what is the state of current, with the current market, what are people looking for, right? So I take that feedback, and that's how I try to improve my service. So that's yeah, I agree with that. And with regards to negotiating, I think it's always sad, like you mentioned, negative connotation because everybody pictures, that sleazy, salesperson at the auto shops, right? Or the, auto sales. And I
Right.
think, people feel like when they leave, they feel like they've been robbed or, they could have done better. So what are some things that, you recommend, for someone to learn to get better in negotiation or just general sales?
I would recommend a book called Pitch Anything by Origin Clough, I think. Pitch Anything, I would recommend Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss.
I've read that
If
one.
they're in a sales position, I would recommend Spin Selling. If you're trying to sell something above $1,000, like if the product is over 1,000 or maybe over 5,000, you definitely want to read Spin Selling. Spin Selling teaches you how to, like, what questions you need to ask. The best salesmen in the world don't really like make you do anything. They just ask great questions and they figure out what the prospect needs and then they insert themselves as a solution to whatever they need, and then you get the deal. It's as simple as that, right? So, Spin Selling, I would say those three books are my top three books for sales and psychology, negotiation, all that stuff.
Gotcha.
Definitely.
And
Hmm.
that's something I'm realizing that that's something I'm trying to improve on at a personal level, but also like my business partner as well, because we're finding out that it is very important to keep prospecting and keep getting clients, right? It's not a
Yeah.
lot of it. We already have the technical things down, and those processes are great, but part of it is interfacing and building those new relationships and getting new clientele. So that's the tough part that no one tells you, I feel. Um, but yeah,
I would say that marketing is probably I would say marketing, I'm gonna just go out on a limb and say that marketing is the most important thing in business because it doesn't matter if you have the best product in the world. If no one knows about it, what good does that product do?
true.
Does that make sense? Like if no one knows about your product or your service or what it is that you're offering, or you can be the most skilled person at whatever, but no one knows about it, who cares? Like who cares? You're not gonna demand any money, you're not gonna demand any respect because no one knows about it. So marketing, I think, is probably, and look at Grant Cardone, he's probably one of the biggest marketers out there, right? He's been able to market himself as the biggest real estate guru in probably, I don't know, this side of the world. So marketing is super important and people just don't really think about how important it is. So if anyone wants to start like a marketing company, that would be a really good place to start too.
The best thing. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
alrighty. So let's take it back and if you were to start again, or if somebody was interested in real estate, what are some of the if you can give some like practical blueprint, like what would you recommend them to do?
Um, if I would I would align with a mentor a lot earlier on, and I would align with the people that are doing what I want to be doing a lot earlier. So I'm definitely hiring a mentor, hiring or getting around people that are doing what you're doing, um, being more courageous, going out there and just literally putting yourself out there from the beginning is probably one of the best things you can do for yourself. And people don't give themselves permission to fail. And I think that's probably one of the biggest mistakes. Like, you need to understand that you're going to fail, but true failure isn't like fucking up today or messing up today. True failure is like when you actually quit, and you never actually quit until you're 6 feet under, right? So there's really no failure, no true failure that you can have as long as you can get back up and try it again. Get back up, try it again. Because I like to think that I'm never gonna fail. I'm either gonna win or I'm gonna learn something new. Right? And so that's something to consider there. You're either gonna win or you're gonna learn something new. Um, so fail forward, fail fast. hire a mentor. That's
Gotcha.
my
So getting mentorship is a key early on, huh?
early on,
Now,
yeah.
if I know nothing about real estate, what's the more I learn about it, like the the more expanded it gets, and it seems like there's so much things, right? What would you recommend someone that wants to get into real estate but doesn't know where to get started?
YouTube University. I looked at a lot of YouTube videos. I heard a lot of podcasts. But the problem with a lot of them is that it has like a lot of, the problem going that route, like looking at it, is that you're gonna have all these different people that have all these different ideas, and it's not focused. It's not laser focused with whatever it is that you're wanting to do. So you need to find someone that's doing whatever it is that you want to do, and then go ask them for help. You know, if they have like a real estate course or if they have like some sort of mentorship, that's what you want to do. So I have a real estate course. I think I have it on my link tree, and I think I have it for 150. If anyone watches this Instagram or anyone watching right now, I have it for 150. But if you send me a DM, I'll send you a discount code for everyone here watching. I'll give it for like 30 bucks. $30 I can do like a discount. So from 150 down to 30 bucks. At this point, it's not even about the money. It's more so about the future business that I want to do with people. And I find that um, a lot more rewarding than, 150 bucks. That's nothing, It's more so about like how many deals can we do together and how can we scale together and how can we grow a community and where we consistently do more deals. That's what I'm really interested in building now.
And I think you just hit the key difference between the quote unquote gurus on YouTube. I think they're all trying to just sell you a product and that's it. And I think they might have done it right, but at some point they realize they can make more money off of selling you content for YouTube versus someone like
Right,
Josue who's trying to build the relationship long term and grow together, right? So I think that's the differentiator in a lot of those so-called gurus in the market. Um,
right.
so all right. Besides, so some of the things that you learn, besides getting a mentor earlier, or hanging out with people that were already where you wanted to be, what are some of the things that you wish you learned earlier?
Um, Man, actually managing money. Managing money is something that I wish I would have learned a lot earlier and um doing things like projecting for cash flow, projecting for managing the cash flow, projecting or creating budgets for your business. I think it's something that's not talked about at all from like pretty much no one out there. There's no one out there telling you, all right, set aside, 25% of your income to marketing, set aside 15% of your income for G&A, for general and admissions expenses. So you're going to need 15% to pay for your get response, your email provider, your email sender. You're going to need 15% to pay for hub staff so you can manage your cold callers. You're going to need 15% for, your whatever, XYC. Every business is different, right? But you're going to have a general overhead and then you're going to have a marketing overhead. So how much money should you set aside for that, and how much money should you set aside for this? Out of every dollar that comes into your company, you should set aside X amount for every facet of your business. And I think that's something that no one talks about. That's something I wish I would have learned a lot earlier. And there's actually a really good book that I highly recommend everyone to read. It's called Profit First by Mike Holowitz or something like that. Super good book.
Well, there you go, man. You're dropping real gems, man. I'm writing all this
I
stuff
see
down
it.
so
And
you
you
can
should like,
see.
damn, let me write that
that's
down.
that's
You're like, that's a
that's
good one. That's a
that
good one.
it's interesting. That's the exact challenge I'm coming across right now. The last few weeks it became very dry. Right now it's picking up again, but I realize that to your point, it's important to plan, right? Especially as you're planning on expanding or reinvesting in your employees and whatnot. And I guess that leads me to the next question. So once you got started, right? Once you started kind of budgeting better, etc. At what point do you stop doing sort of the operational day to day, and at what point do you start, realizing that you need help and that you need to hire employees and train them and whatnot?
Whenever you're too busy to go look for new business, that's when you should hire someone. And what I
Hmm.
mean by that is like if you're too busy doing the work that you don't have enough time to go out and look for new deals or look for new prospect or look for new opportunities, then man, as a CEO, I think the biggest, most important thing that you can do in your business is consistently look for expanding your revenue, right? If you're not looking consistently at adding new markets or adding new products or adding new services or adding a different level to your business, like you're gonna stay stagnant and you're gonna be kind of like in a like the rat race. You're gonna be like spinning your wheels. Because what happens even like in real estate is like you'll go and get one deal, and then after you get one deal, you're busy closing that deal, and then you have to go find the next deal, and then you're busy closing that deal. And at the beginning, everyone goes through this process where it's like, fuck, like I got this deal. Now I gotta go sell it. Then I gotta make sure that it closes. So that's TC, transactions coordination. And then okay, now I close. Now I got the money. Okay, now I gotta do it all over again. The real challenge is in like doing it consistently over and over. Like you have to consistently find new deals, and then you have to consistently sell new deals, and then you have to consistently close new deals. So that's the challenge. I mean, I would say whenever you're too busy to stop like the beginning of the process, which is getting new customers, finding new customers is something that you can never stop. I heard you say that, you're running a little dry, and I'm probably gonna shoot something out like, it might have been because you took your eye off of marketing or off of from acquiring new uh new prospects for your business. And
That,
a lot of business owners go through that,
yeah, that's
you know.
exactly right. Yeah, I
That's
think
something you can never stop. You can never stop it. And like even right now I hired someone full time to start like marketing on me, like literally just posting stuff on Instagram just so I can be like blasting stuff on Instagram, being in front of people's faces. Why? Because I want people to think about me when they have a deal. That's it. It's as simple as that. All I want is just real estate deals, and that's all I'm focused on.
yeah, that's exactly right. I started noticing that your Twitter posts, the screenshots of Twitter posts, and a few other things. So I think
And
at
it's not
some
even
point,
me.
yeah,
It's
that's
not even me.
your
Like they're logged onto my Instagram and they're just like posting for me. And dude, like that's the most important thing you can do for your business is delegate so you can focus on the tasks that make you the most money. And the tasks that make you the most money typically is going to be closing deals, you know, closing a new prospect, whatever. Like no one can close a deal better than you can. In your business, no one knows the data better than you. You can hire someone, but they're not going to know how to sell that product or service better than you. I can guarantee it. It's a reason why you're the leader right now.
Yeah, that's right. And you touched on two things. One, I want to go back to the processes, right? Your processes. How would you define a process, and why is that important?
A process is just a way of doing business. And the reason it's important is because you want to be able to scale your organization. And if you want to scale your organization, you're going to need to bring on new people. If you bring on new people and you're having to like train them all over, it's going to be redundant and you're going to run out of battery real quick. But if you have everything documented, then you can say, hey, here's this document, check it out. If you get stuck, just let me know. And then if they look at the document, it's literally a step-by-step process. Step one, turn on your computer. You know,
Yeah.
I'm exaggerating, but step one, log on to get a response. This is log on to the email provider. This is the username, this is the password. Step two, go to contacts or go to the newsletter if you're going to send out a newsletter. Step three, fill out all the information. Step four, send it out. I'm kind of condensing it, but in a nutshell, that's what it is, right? Uh,
So sort of like repeatable
it's like,
actions that you can,
I mean,
again, you can fully
look at
train someone.
McDonald's.
Mhm.
Like at McDonald's, right? They have someone flipping the meat, they have someone toasting the buns, they have someone putting the cheese, right? The same thing. Your business is the exact same thing. It's a conveyor belt. In my business, there's someone cold calling, there's someone doing lead management, there's someone closing the deals, and then there's someone selling the deals, and there's someone making sure that they close. It's a conveyor belt of just printing money, in my opinion. It's all we're doing.
Gotcha. No, that's good. And I guess at some point, when once you have your process set up and once you're able to train people, etc., now we go to the delegation piece, right? I think delegation is really hard for some people to do, especially if you started the whole thing by yourself, right? So, what advice do you have for people that might not know how to delegate? Maybe they think they can run the whole show, right? But I'm like you mentioned, I'm great at the data, but I'm not be great at the marketing piece, right? So, what advice do you have for future entrepreneurs that don't want to let go?
I think you need to realize that you're stunting your own growth, and ask yourself, what is it going to take for me to get to the next level? And typically the answer is for you to get the hell out the way. Simple as that. So realize that if you don't let go of the vine, you're stunting your own growth. And you have two options at that point. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. You could either be insane and think, oh yeah, I'm going to scale. I'm going to keep on trying to do everything. I'm going to keep on trying to do everything and I'm going to scale. Or you can be realistic with yourself and be, okay, well, I'm probably not going to scale because I can't let go of the vine. And if you're okay with that, that's fine. But if you're not okay with that, then you need to make a change. You need to go out there and just let other people do what needs to be done so that you can continue growing. And it's as simple as that. I think you have to have a lot of confidence in your team too, and just let them fail too. Like, hey, I have team members here, and I say, hey, it's okay to fail. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes one, two, three times. It's not a big deal. Just make sure that you're learning so you can do it better and better the next time around.
That's
Make
facts. And
sense?
I think not giving yourself enough space or enough flexibility to fail, I think that's it's probably hindering your business and your employees. Okay. Yeah, so
And sometimes you'll go back a couple steps actually. Like sometimes you won't scale as fast as you want, but it's worth it in the long term because if you have leaders in place, then it's scalable. Then the leaders can train other leaders, and then that's how you grow.
that's true. And I guess yeah, just kind of wrapping up a little bit. What's next for Josue and your business?
What's next? I would say I would say just marketing all over Texas. Um, you know, Revenues of well over 1 million this year. And
Wow.
for some of my friends, it's not a lot of money, but you know, once you kind of reach a certain amount of threshold every month, you have the scalability to be able to do that. So yeah, for me, it's just keep on wholesaling, and I think there's a change in the market going on right now. I see it already in the market. Like there's days on market are going up. Um, in some areas, the prices are kind of looking like they're not as hot anymore. They're coming down a little bit. So I was doing a lot of fix and flips, and I'm not going to do any more fix and flips. But I'm actually going to be doing a lot more owner financing. So that's what I'm going to be focused on here lately is wholesaling and then buying properties cash and then selling them owner finance and probably buying like multifamily just to be able to offset my taxes.
Yeah, that's
That's
another
pretty much it.
kind of key thing that you touched on earlier about learning about the profit, etc. I feel like the tax world is another world on its own, and real estate is a great way to offset some of those things, right?
Yeah.
One thing I get asked about is what do I think? What do you think about the current market, I guess, real estate market? And you kind of mentioned that some of those, uh, I guess, homes that were overly priced, etc., they're kind of coming down, right? But what would you suggest to someone like a, newly a new family, right? That's they have some cash and they're trying to find their first home. What alternatives do they have?
I mean, buying a property owner finance is a good way, but I I don't take it from me. I mean, I take all of my advice from other smarter people. But a lot of smart people that I know are saying hold off on buying properties for the next two, like this year, next year. Let's see where we're at next year, but with rising inflation, rising interest rates, right now is not a good time to buy because prices are eventually going to start coming down with rising interest rates. People can't afford the same that they could afford just 6 months ago. So the fact is that the buyer pool is going to be decreased, and because the buyer pool is decreased, prices are going to have to start coming down to meet the amount of money, the amount of mortgages that someone can afford per month. So it's it's pretty simple to look at. Uh, what someone can afford is a lot less today than it is just 6 months ago. So I would say, I mean, if you're buying it for your own home, yeah, buy it. It's okay. If you're gonna live there for the next 30 years and you could afford it, buy it. But if it's an investment, I would say hold off for a year or two.
Gotcha. And what are some other ways to invest that money? Let's say that, I want to do investing, but me and my wife, we have, some cash left that we want to invest in real estate. What are other ways that we can kind of invest without actually owning?
I think short-term rentals is a really good strategy, like leasing out a property and then furnishing it. So you'd have to pay for the lease, basically have that money saved up, and then have the money saved up to furnish the property, depending on a property, like a two-bedroom, three-bedroom house. I mean, it could be around 5 grand, anywhere from 5 to 10 grand, depending on where the property's at, depending on what kind of furniture you want to put into it. Um, so I would say short-term rentals is a really good game to get into. I have some Airbnbs, and I mean, I have a property in Texas City, and it's bringing in like 2 grand a month, just like nothing. And it's like it's in Texas City. My mortgage on that is 560. Like my all-in cost is around $900, and I'm
Wow.
cash flowing like 2 grand on it. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to expand my own portfolio in that, and I like what I see as
Yeah.
well. So yeah, but no, yeah. Anyways, yeah. Thanks for your insight. And just kind of bringing it back to closing with the personal finance piece. Can you talk to me
Mhm.
about your money mantra or your money motto?
Money model. I like to stay liquid because if you have an opportunity in front of you, a lot of people say cash is trash, and I think that's bullshit, right? If you're not liquid and there's an opportunity in front of you, you're not going to be able to capitalize on that opportunity. If someone brought me a deal today and I didn't have the money to buy it, I'd be screwed. I wouldn't be able to buy it. Like if people say, oh, go broke investing all your cash. Namely, it's like Grant Cardone says that. That's bullshit. He's trying to sell you on like putting all your money in with him.
Yep.
People don't see that, right? He's selling you on that. But it's bullshit. You need to have money in the account. Number one, right now, because there is a recession coming. And number two, because you want to be ready for opportunities. If someone comes to you and they say, "Hey, I got a property, I got to sell it. I got to sell it right now, and I got to sell it for 30 grand." If you don't have 30 grand in the account, you're screwed. You're gonna miss on that opportunity. I'm talking to a wholesaler right now, and they have a deal, and it's a really juicy deal, and they don't have the funds to be able to close on it. And I mean, fact of the matter is, you have to bring in someone else. So why not be prepared by having the liquidity yourself to be able to
Yourself.
take advantage of those opportunities? Liquidity is so important in my opinion. So my money mantra is stay liquid.
Stay there. Well, there you go.
Yep.
Alrighty. Yeah. So I guess, this next segment is about yourself. So here's where you can promote yourself. Where can we follow you? I know you touched on your course. So if you're interested in learning about real estate wholesaling, go check out this course. And if you want a discounted version, you can DM Josue. But where else can we follow you? And you kind of touched on what's next for you, but just share anything you want to
Yeah,
our.
I'm gonna be doing just most of my marketing through Instagram, so people can follow me on Instagram. That's where they'll find pretty much everything that I'm doing. So that's gonna be my primary marketing method. Um, I also have a Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, all that stuff. But I mean, I think at the end of the day, this is probably my chosen model for now. So just go click on my link tree, and I'll have a bunch of different links on there. There's a course in there. I'll probably do something like I don't know, like a monthly kind of coaching thing, just to be able to teach new people that want to learn about wholesaling. Mainly, again, it's so that I can create a community that is learning how to wholesale, and then also we can do deals together. That's the biggest reason for doing that, not really the money.
Gotcha. No, definitely appreciate that. And I guess one thing I just came to mind, what would you say to all those people that, they might be stuck in a job that they don't like, or 9 to 5, whatever it is, and they're already, they've been watching, they have so many hours watched on YouTube and they listen to podcasts. What advice would you give them?
I would say burn your bridges, man. Get out of there. It's time to be courageous. But that was my method. I wouldn't really recommend a lot of people to do it, because I did it when I had like a support system. So I had a girlfriend at the time that like had my back. She took care of like bills and stuff while I was building the engine. So my overhead was a lot lower than it would have been had I been 100% on my own. So it took me 8 months of like not making any money for me to find the first deal. If you don't have that support system, like if you live at home with your parents and you have a job that you don't like, that like you're holding yourself back. There's no reason why you shouldn't go pursue your dreams. But if you have a family, you have kids, you have a household that you have to support, obviously you can't do that, right? That'd be foolish. That'd be irresponsible. So I would say just like, hey, it's time to grind, go do your job. When you get home from your job, grind time, baby. It's time to go take action so you can get your first deal. Everyone's situation is different. I would say use a little bit of reason and logic when when making that decision. But what's really guaranteed, or what's really for certain, is that you need to take action immediately. Uh, take action today.
There you go. I think I'm gonna edit this clip and repost it as take action, because I think a lot of people need to hear more of that, right? And learn
Absolutely.
to learn to take risk, and maybe I don't know about the bridges, but we'll see. All right, Jose. Hey,
That
man.
was me. That's how I did it, but
Yeah.
it's probably not what's best for everyone. So take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, no worries. Well, man, if anyone has any questions, feel free to drop them now. Otherwise, thank you for your time, and I really appreciate that. And hopefully, once this is done, I'll send you the clip if you want to repost it. But I want to thank everyone for joining us. And again, watch this replay. Go follow Josue. Check
Are
out
you
his
able to
store.
are you able to download this video?
Yep, yep.
Okay,
I'll shoot
perfect.
you
Yeah.
a copy later. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, send it to me on Dropbox or something, and I'll have my guy edit it. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to put some clips together on Instagram, do some more marketing. So that's another thing that all the viewers should definitely take into account, is you never stop marketing. You have to consistently market, 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 because that's how you get in front of new opportunities.
Facts,
But
man. Are facts.
thank you very much for hosting this, man. I really appreciate it. Had a good time. It's time to get back to work now.
That's all right. All right, Jose. Have a good weekend, and yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and stay tuned. Take care. See ya.
You got it, bro. Later. Bye-bye.